All right, guys, going to be another fun episode as we talk about part 4 of Facebook groups, how to monetize. And I thought it'd be fun to read off one of our reviews that we're getting out there on Apple Podcasts. So this one comes from P. Testa. It says, I absolutely love everything it said. It resonates and helps me so much in leveling up on a personal level and a professional level. Hands down, the best podcast ever. Thanks, P. Testa.
Yay! Thank you. That's awesome. Welcome to your High Vibe Business. I'm Laura DeFranco.
And I'm Donnie Bovine.
And we are here to help you create your badass high vibe business.
What does it mean to have a high vibe business? It's that business you're excited about. It lights you up and it helps you unleash that inner badass and really go for it.
You are a lover and a warrior, and you're here to change the world with your business. We will give you the strategy and resources you need to take this all to the next level.
You shouldn't do this alone. Start hanging out with other badass entrepreneurs and watch how fast your business grows.
You guys, Donnie Bovine runs a successful coaching and speaking business, and he's spent over 2 decades mastering sales.
And Laura DeFranco is an expert healer, 2 times business owner, 6-time published author, and spoken word poet.
Together, we're here to help you create your high vibe business. That's really awesome.
So,
I thought you were going to start us off.
All right, I'll get us going. We're leaving that in there too, because that's fun.
Yes.
So on this episode, guys, it's all about monetizing your Facebook group. So we've talked about, why you should have Facebook groups, how to grow your group. Last episode was all about engagement. This one is going to be all about how you monetize your group. And I think, for a lot of people, that's kind of that magic move of why you should really do a group in the first place, is because you create this community, you create this family, you create this safe place where people want to hang out. You can turn that into a revenue stream for your business. And that's what we're going to focus on. Laura and I will talk about how we've monetized our groups and everything we've done. Go ahead.
Yes. And so the thing I mentioned at the very end of the last episode was there are 2 main places you serve prospective ideal clients, and you serve them like they are gold. It's this free Facebook group and your email list, you guys. And so speaking of that monetizing idea, you need to remember that these people chose to be in your Facebook group. You really need to treat them like the people on your email list, like they are gold, like another level of, badass here, because they are in there, they're watching you. You have a captive audience in those 2 things. And so I know I said it last time, but I'm going to remind you guys this time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think, the trick to really get into a monetized group is to do 2 things. One, I love having a kind of secret paid group that is hidden behind your free group. I run a couple of those for masterminds, for coaching, for course development. Laura and I run ours together. And when you're talking about your high vibe business, there's a paid group to get into that one. But I love having a free group to lead to that paid group. But I also monetize the free group. And a lot of the ways that I'm doing that is by offering things that they can buy, they can geek out on, they can get into. So I've tried a lot of different things in these Facebook groups, from t-shirts to tchotchkes, keychains, different things, trying to tell anything. And I'll tell you, what worked for me wasn't all of that stuff, because people just weren't buying it. And I think it's because my brand is still growing. People are still getting to know me. I think that'll happen down the line. But what started working for me was getting them into private conversations that then led to coaching conversations, led to consulting conversations, led them to getting into my private groups. Is that how it worked for you, Laura?
Yeah, in the beginning of my business, I had a coach who gave me this homework, and it really was one of the best pieces of business homework I ever got. And she just basically put it to me like this: like, you want to understand your ideal client, you need to have a crap ton of conversations to get to the point that you're really understanding them. So offer that discovery call and do as many as you have the energy for in the beginning, and take copious notes and really get to understanding. And this is, you know, some of the things we've already talked about, like as you're engaging in your group, you're trying to understand people and understand where they're coming from, their wants, their needs, their dreams, desires, their struggles, what you might be able to help them with. And yes, so I did a lot of those. I still do them. I love getting to know people like that. And I've done a lot of other things in terms of monetizing the free group, and we can get to a few of those in a minute, but the conversation thing is big.
Yeah, what I find is, especially when my groups were a little bit smaller, I made it a point to reach out to everybody who joined the group and to see if I could get them into a Zoom conversation as I get to know you. It wasn't even a sales call. It was, hey, let me get to know you a little bit so I know how best to serve you. And that's the way I kept looking at it. And what I found is in those conversations, a lot of times they would ask me how to work together. And a lot of those people did become clients, but that wasn't the intent of the call. And I want you to make sure you understand that is I wasn't going into those conversations to try and sell them anything. And I think that puts a cool, different energy and vibe in the air. And I will tell you, really early on, how I figured out how I was going to monetize the group was from those conversations. Is people started asking how they could work with me, how they could, do things for me. And so, as I was beginning, I was like, well, crap, I've got to create something. People want to, spend money with me to, either be coached or consulted, or they want advice. What can I create to allow me to give them what they need, and there's an awesome exchange of financial exchange to make sure that they're investing in themselves, which, guys, if you're struggling with charging your clients, hear me on this. If they are not financially investing in themselves, they are not fully stepping into what you're trying to teach them. And what I mean by that is if people don't make a physical investment, they're not making the full mental investment. Just hear me on that, because I know a lot of people struggle with charging for healing services. So don't beat me up for this, but it's a truth, is if you want people to fully take on what you're teaching and doing, that financial transaction helps them take the mental shift into your product and services.
Definitely. I agree wholeheartedly there. You guys have come across lots of people, and lots of people who right away you understand if they're investing in themselves or not. And so, trust your gut on that one. It's going to present itself very plain and simple. Um, you know, there are a lot of ways to monetize. And since you mentioned the healing business thing, and because I'm a writer and an author, I have to tell you guys, I'm going to push it, and I'm actually going to do a lot more in the new year about this. Have you written that book yet? Like, do you have a product that you can share with people? Do you even have a free product that you can offer in the free group that brings people into your world at the next level? Kind of like a discovery call. What else are you doing? What can you do? Have you done a free webinar yet on a particular topic that you like to educate about? Do you have a free ebook that you can put in the group and say, hey, you guys are getting first dibs at this, my free group people, here you go. And so those are some other ways. And I say monetize, even though those things are free, you're going to have something behind it that you'll offer after that. So you guys
Yeah.
have to go into this idea of monetizing with a bigger vision and an idea of what you got to have something to offer, you guys, and you can't be afraid to have a paid offer or offer the paid offer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This is huge.
Yeah.
So one step that I left out that she was talking, I was like, damn it, I meant to say that, is the power of the email in your group.
Yes.
Laura talked about it at the very beginning, but one of the things you need to be doing with your group is you get 3 questions to ask when somebody's going to join their group. All right. And the questions are, you can ask things like, how did you find the group? What are you into? What's holding you back? Which is my favorite question to always ask. But that third question for me, I found, it's actually always the second question because I kind of sandwich it, is, what is your email address? And you'll be surprised that a lot of people will give you that email address. And so when you do these free books and you do these giveaways, everything else, put it behind some sort of MailChimp wall,
Mhm.
Aweber wall, and my thing. I use a very higher end, more expensive email system. We can talk about that another podcast. But I use Entreport because of the functionalities and things that it can do. But put that behind that so you can, when you do these free things, not only can you put it in a group, but you can send that out to the email list, or you can get people that maybe haven't given you their email yet and get them to give you their email for the ebook, for the other product and service. And the reason you do this is the number one way to sell your webinars, your programs, your coaching, and everything else is a consistent message that goes in their inbox or their email over time, and constantly put that out there. I mean, you only have to send out like one email a week to get enough of the conversation, everything going. So, but that email is super powerful inside your Facebook groups to really connect with them where they're hanging out that's not on Facebook.
Definitely. I'll back that up by saying the things that I was talking about: free webinar, free ebook, free discovery call, free anything. The link that you're giving for those things inside of your free Facebook group is an email opt in. Do not do this. So everything that you listen, this is value that you are giving away for free inside of these groups. The very least they can do is drop an email for you.
Yeah.
And listen, this is a no pressure thing. You guys all realize people can unsubscribe from a list at any time. I used to have so much resistance around the email list thing, and if somebody had schooled me from the very beginning, my list would probably be 10 times the size by now. But I had to get over this kind of thing. Oh, is it salesy? Is it this? No, you guys, if you're giving free content, it's an email opt-in that they're getting it by.
Yeah, and just to kind of give that additional perspective is I just did a webinar not too long ago. Had a bunch of people show up for the webinar, and a few people signed up the day of the webinar, but majority of my signups came from the follow-up emails that came out after the webinar. Because people were like, "Oh, I need to do that." Life happened, they forget, they whatever. Then all of a sudden the email comes through. It's like, "Oh crap, I got to do that before it goes away." That's just natural human behavior. It's not salesy, it's not pushy. It's getting them to do what they've already mentally committed to do, and reminding them to take that leap and move forward. I mean, think about it. How many times have you wanted to sign up and do something, maybe a course or coaching session, and you're like, "Hey, I'll get back to you," and you really meant it, and then life happens, you totally forgot about it, and then an email comes through, and you're like, "Oh crap, they're going to think horrible for me because I told them I was going to do this and I haven't done it," and then you come back and sign up. There is power in that because it's such a intimate conversation that you don't have to actually be there to have, which is it's just really, really, really powerful.
And we're so busy. We need the reminders. This might be a great time to talk about, in terms of monetizing anything. What's that magic number? People need 7 touches, 9
Yeah.
touches. I've heard a lot of numbers, but I think the bottom line there is they're going to need multiple touches. What's a touch? Maybe it was a post in your free Facebook group. Maybe they did drop that email, and the next touch is that email that comes in their inbox and they get reminded of whatever that was. Maybe another touch is the free discovery call. Maybe you reach out on Messenger and you just say, "Hey, looking forward to having a conversation with you." That's touch number 4 or 5. Like, realize that we're not talking about in-person touches in this day and age. There's lots of ways just to get in front of people and remind them that you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact you said we're busy because we are. I mean, we're running all over the place, and a lot of times running our businesses, we're like that clown with all the spinning plates,
Yeah,
trying to hope that one doesn't fall, spinning the next pole to keep that plate going. And
totally.
so this is that one gentle move that you can do to get them to, and really it's about getting them to take action in their life, because that what you do, how you serve people with your healing practices and services, it's what they need. they probably sense and feel that that's what they need, right? But they sometimes need that one extra little nudge to get them to go, okay, I'm in. I'm investing in myself and I'm going to move forward. You know?
Definitely.
So,
And
go ahead.
I had another idea for everybody, and it's something that I do for my free group and my email list. It's the same, those two groups of people who chose to be with me in my community and my network. Sometimes they get special discount offers.
Mm,
So I will come into the free Facebook group on a week where my schedule is very open, and I will say, hey, you guys, I have 3 openings for a coaching session this week. And to fill them, I'm going to give you guys X% discount this week. Who wants them?
mm.
And so that's just another way to monetize. It's a valuable offer that you're giving those people first who chose to be there in your group or your email list. You could do the same thing. And so you're just making me think of, other ways that you can directly monetize a group like that.
Yeah, no, I love it. And other things that you can do in there to monetize is, and I've done, live like group coaching sessions. Hey, let's get 5 to 10 people together. We're gonna have a group coaching session. It'll cost you X amount of dollars to come hang out. And I don't usually make it a high dollar item because mentally, let me give one piece of advice for you guys. Having a low ticket item, right? Something that is low cost gets people investing in your vision, your brand, and who you are. Once they make that financial transaction, the level of trust with you increases tremendously and they want to do more with you. And see,
I'm so glad you brought that up. It was another thing in a coaching session with one of my own personal coaches. She wanted me to have 3 tiers of price point for people to enter at any of those levels. And I totally back up what Donnie is saying about it's so cool to have that lower price point so people can have a taste of you.
yes. And when people start investing with you and especially when they start seeing results, they want more of that. So if you have these levels that people can come along, it's called a value ladder. But if you have that value ladder in place, they want to climb and they want to continue and doing more. And guys, I promise you, when you watch somebody climb your value ladder and they get all the way up to your highest tier of coaching, masterminds, whatever it is, and you see the transformation in their life and what they're doing, it is fucking powerful. I mean, it's one of the biggest things and thrills I get in my life when you watch somebody go from maybe unsure about themselves, unhealthy, not confident, whatever, to lit the world badass that's just doing everything they set out to do because they went through one of your programs. That's empowering as hell.
Yes, this is so high vibe, you guys. This is that ripple thing. This is why you're doing what you're doing, right? And so, in our case, this is our personal example. We've got an online mastermind that's $47 a month. That is like going out to dinner one time.
Right.
Like seriously, if you want it. So I always like to do that too. Like when you guys are monetizing your things, whatever they are, why does everybody use Starbucks? I'm not really sure why they do that, but like for the price of 3 Starbucks, you can do this or that. But honestly, sometimes it's really cool to compare some of that stuff,
Well, and
So
depending on the restaurant, because my wife and I just went out to dinner, it was $100 for the two of us, and I went, "Holy crap!"
I know, what am I talking about? For $47, right?
Right?
But that's our example. We offer that, and we want people to come into the community because we know that we're on fire in there. We know that we're giving that massive value at that lower price point. When people have a taste of you, when they get into a community where things are lit on fire like that, they're feeling better, they're doing well. They are going to be looking at your next level thing. I promise you they will.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, they feel empowered when they can invest in you. And hear me on that. When they realize that they've done some right moves in their life, they have the ability to invest and they start doing, they're going to step into that a hell of a lot more than they would by doing anything free with you. It's really 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 awesome to get them moving in their life and move forward. So
And don't let people take advantage of your free time either. I have an example for you guys. I got on a discovery call with somebody. It was already going overtime. It was rescheduled 2 times. It was one of those things, right? You can already probably tell from my story that the energy is dipping already. And somewhere in the overtime call, I got the question of, well, do you offer anything else, for free, so that I can get a little idea of what I'm buying? And I'm like, no, this was it.
yeah,
I mean, so people will ask you all kinds of things, and they will try to get more and more and more. And this is where you need to put up your boundaries, the value you're giving, and really kind of stand up tall inside of your worthiness, you guys.
yeah, and hear me on this as well. If they only want free stuff, they are not the client you want, because they are
Yeah.
not investing in themselves, and they won't invest in themselves to grow. So they're the people that are going to get into your program, not do the work, not do the time, not put in the effort, and then they're going to tell other people that it didn't work. And it
Yes.
all came down to they did not invest in themselves to see the results that you laid out for them. So as we wrap up this episode, just a couple of food for thoughts is always go back and make it a family environment. Make it safe. Collect the email addresses, guys. I'm telling you, they're absolute gold. Create a ladder system, value ladder. What's the small ticket item? What's your medium ticket item? What's your high dollar item? So is that, maybe an online private group for $47 a month, like, Laura and I do? What's the next tier? What's the next tier? We have it all worked out to where you can get all the way up to private coaching with Laura and I for an entire day. So when you think about, what's that value ladder, lay it all out, make it simple for them to invest in you and your programs and services, and connect with them. Jump on a Zoom call with them, get to know them, right? And just create this really cool high vibe engagement, well built, well focused, Facebook group.
And ultimately, you guys remember, it doesn't do you any good not to make more money. You want to be able to generously take care of yourself and everybody you love, and that takes money. Monetizing is a tricky subject for healers. We get all bent out of shape on this subject. Let's just keep the conversations rolling so this feels easier, feels less like sales and more like sharing our awesome gifts with the world, which is what it is. This is a ripple thing. This is a what you were born for thing. This is a legacy thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that is why we are here sharing like we are, so the conversations, the more of them you have, the easier this feels. And the more you make, the happier you get, the more you can offer from a place of overflow and not burnout.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And just remember, the bigger you can go, the more financial security you create in your life, the more you can do and serve others, and support things that you want to get behind. So that's always the
Yes,
message.
exactly. I know you guys have, this is another one we could talk about all day, but I know you have charities you want to donate to. I know you have friends you want to support that way. I know you have other small businesses you would like to invest in and do things with. Well, right? So we're going to do a lot of good inside of this topic of monetizing your gifts and offerings and all of that good stuff. So we're here for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, if you got any value out of this episode, do us a favor and share it out with one friend, one healer friend that you hang out with, that you think would just see value in this conversation. And then wherever you're listening to this podcast, if you could leave us a review, that just helps us reach and get more people. It's really the bloodline of this podcast and would do us a tremendous amount of help.
Yes, please, you guys, drop us a review. We want this to blow up all over the world. We want these messages to get out there. The reviews so help. And if you're ready to take that, everything we talked about, if you're ready to take it to the next level, your highvibebiz.com. You're going to learn all about that online mastermind. And we can't wait to have you be a part of that amazing, badass community.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.